Welcome. I'm Mike Hendricks from SMB Golf, and my guest today is Manna Justin from CourseRev. Manna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. Happy to be here.
Well, we're really lucky to have you. You're in Spain today. You're actually not our first European guest, but you're in Spain today. You do spend time in the United States. I'm going to guess very few people that watch this podcast know about CourseRev. So that's exciting for me to introduce CourseRev to everybody. So I appreciate that.
And thank you for the opportunity for that.
and before we get too deep into this episode of the Tech Caddy really kind of gets back to like when we had Dathan Wong on from Notify. Dathan is really the technology leader at Notify, and Manna certainly is the technology leader at CourseRev. And so we're excited to have tech leaders on this podcast and actually get into some details. Let me just tell everybody right up front, CourseRev is essentially leveraging learning language models and AI to book tee times over the phone. And that's really exciting. Manna, why don't you introduce the company to us a little bit, and then we'll kind of get into the origin.
Okay. The origins of CourseRev goes all the way back to 2005 when I created a yield management system for golf courses called 40. And that gave me insight. I'm not from the golf industry initially. I'm from the tech industry. And that gave me a lot of insight. My business partner, Ratcliffe, who manages a lot of golf courses in the Charlotte area, we became very good friends over the period of the last almost 20 years. He gave me all the insights of the golf business, while I manage the tech side because of my technology companies, which produces software for not only for my tech startups, which range from edtech, on-demand fuel, and we have a lot of experience in the golf sector. With Dell, I built, or rather, Dell built the pitch CRM software, and my team built it for him. My team was quite closely involved in the development. We did everything. We tried to understand how to go about golf data and things like that. So with all this experience of CourseRev, of the golf industry, 40 has gone through a lot of transitions, right? We partnered with another gentleman called Bob Kennedy, who was running Coupons, which was a golf couponing software. He's based out of Warner Robins, Georgia. Over the years, Bob has become family to me. That's how close we are. He's a retired commander from the US Navy, and he's 78 years old, but still excited about startups and things like that. So thing,
Manna, how long have you had exposure to the Georgia area?
Ever since early 2000s.
Okay. And so were you familiar with Last Minute Golfer, which also made its way into Charlotte? Okay. So I'm a Last Minute Golfer guy. I had Last Minute Golfer in Ohio and Indiana and Pennsylvania. And that's actually how I got to know the team at Golf Now and ultimately joined Golf Now. But my origin is Last Minute Golfer, which is certainly out of Alpharetta, Georgia, for those people that don't know. But go on with your story.
Yeah. So during the period, we transitioned a lot. We thought that because one of my products was in the advertising area for golf, we thought an app which had a social aspect to it. We transitioned 40 from a yield management system to an app combining golf coupons and golf alerts, which was the backbone of golf course rankings, because Bob he worked for the last 10-15 years manually collecting reviews for every course there is. He would go and pick every video that's there online and put manually, literally collected a lot of data. He then outsourced a lot of people to work on those things. So he's got a trove of data on golf courses. He knows which course is open, which is not. So that gave me a big support. So in the early 2010s, we merged 40 and golf course rankings together, and I took a equity position in that company, while my company will manage all the tech side. So one thing led to another. We did a lot of iterations. We pivoted probably 10, 15 times to figure out the market. We tried adoption of mobile apps. We introduced GPS on our apps, for rangefinder on our apps, things like that. But still, it was with big names like probably 18 birdies and things like that. That even there are a lot of other names in the GPS sector. I realized that is not an area where it can work.
Right. Manna, I can say, so I became very closely involved with 18 birdies, and even 18 birdies really has struggled to find a profitable product market fit. Right. There's certainly a lot of free users, but even 18 birdies has struggled economically to make sense of the company. So 4Ts is no different, or 4T really is what it's called. It's no different. It's not a knock on you. It's just a tough business.
Yeah. See, whenever I'm in the course, I use my Garmin for my rangefinder all the time. So that's another big competitor too on the course for the rangefinder market, right? So then you have a lot of other things. So luckily for us, golf was not a place where we were making any big money. So it was really not on the forefront. For Bob, he's a retired gentleman who enjoys working 12, 13 hours on golf, being in front of computers, networking with people, talking to people. So it entertains him too, rather than making any money.
Right.
So for me, it was more like always trying to figure out, hey, this has to be figured out. Then what happened during the COVID years, we found that there was a surge in the market.
Yeah, surge in participation. Let me back up for a second.
Yeah.
But during this, from 2005 on, and certainly Del Ratcliffe told the story on this podcast of how he met you and how you all built Pitch. But you're essentially earning a living though through education technology. Is that correct? Or fuel technology?
My company is my earning comes from multiple startups. The core is a company called Nanonino, which I founded 25 years ago.
Okay.
It was built first. It had a base in Charlotte. Then we moved a little bit to India, and then and the Nanonino as such is based in Spain. There's a Nanonino in India. We are a software technology company, but we have also jumped very early on to all emerging technologies like mobile apps. We were one of the first to be on the Apple Store having our apps. We've built I stopped counting the number of apps we produced after we crossed 1,000. So that's how many apps we produce. We even had rangefinder app built but not released for the Google Glass, if you remember when it came out.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that we've always been the cutting edge of getting adoption into technologies like either it's blockchain. I have a few products which are in blockchain. So to make the long story short, Nanonino is a base which produces for all my companies, which is the powerhouse for design and development of software. So that's Nanonino. Then I have various tech startups where I've been the technology co-founder or a founder to provide a real life solution using technology. For example, on-demand delivery. We deliver, one of our companies delivers about 250,000 gallons of fuel every week.
Excellent. And mainly in the U.S.?
Mainly in 5 states, based out of Birmingham, Alabama, and Jackson, Mississippi, and we have markets in greater Miami, Louisiana, Texas. So we have when companies like FedEx need to fill up their trucks when they're on the lot and parked in the lot, our trucks go there and fill up all their trucks on demand.
Excellent.
And the whole thing happens in real time through cloud, for example. So the commonality of my businesses are my interest is in building products. I join with people and bring value to them by building real life solutions using the latest technology that's available.
Okay, excellent. And so that gets us to AI or LLM or how do you think about CourseRev and the way it answers the phone? Do you think of it as an AI tool, or how do you kind of classify that in your head?
In my head, CourseRev is, first of all, addresses to one big problem, right? Let's talk about technology in a second part, or the next part of my answer. First of all, it provides a service to a golfer 24/7 to be able to book a tee time with natural language.
Right.
That is the priority, and this takes off the burden on somebody in the pro shop to reply to or take a call while they're checking in somebody, or taking a payment from somebody, or selling selling to some product to somebody, or giving somebody some information.
So so in that sense, Manna, it really serves as a call center. If
it is like
is that fair to think of it that way?
Yeah, you can, but it's a lot more than a call center.
I
right?
understand, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But so you really are coming on the scene now. You and Dell are coming on the scene. You'll be competitive to a business that I used to sell and manage. Golf Now Answers, right? So Golf Now Answers is a call center. CourseRev will be competitive to that. You'll be competitive to what's called Tee Time Central out of the Myrtle Beach area. And you'll frankly be competitive to some one-off call centers that work for some golf courses that aren't golf specific. So in that sense, CourseRev will answer the phone without using humans and serve as a call center. But go on, continue to explain.
The service is much more. My vision is much more than just selling a tee time, which is just like I used to have a tech product in the real estate industry, right? The real estate industry, the currency were leads to sell a home.
Yes.
Right? That's where I failed, and my startup didn't work out because we went more into the promotion side, and very late on the game, we realized that leads is a currency that we missed out on. If not, we started it as early as when Zillow was there in the market, right? So in golf, tee time is the currency.
That's right.
Currency. Whether for the golf course or for the golfer, all the rest is beyond other stuff, right?
That's right. And from a technology perspective, that's why there's some of us in the industry, we believe the tee sheet technology actually is more important than the point of sale, because the tee time goes through the tee sheet, and that's what makes the tee sheet so doggone important. Yes.
Absolutely. That is a base technology that controls. I mean, it's surprising. Our research shows that 3,000 golf courses in the US don't have a tee sheet system, electronic tee sheet system.
That's right. It's actually a little bit more than that. So that's my business is a consulting business, and we track that daily. We track every day 20,000 golf courses and what tee sheet they use and what booking, And so you're right. There's thousands of golf courses in North America that are still not using a digital tee sheet. Yes.
Yeah. So coming to the technology answer to it is that we are in a very exciting time in our lives. Just like how transformative the silicon was, or the microprocessor was, or the personal computer was, or the cell phone was, to the internet, or whatever it may be, we are in such a big leap with AI, because the speed in which AI is learning and refining every day is much faster than anything else that we have seen in the past.
Got it. Yeah. And so so just so our listeners know, we're going to put a call into this video. You'll see this call happen. I've already done this a few times. I will say at the end of my call, the attendant, if you will, says, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And I said, "Could I get a putting lesson?" And it understood what I wanted. It said, "I can't do that for you, but we have PJ professionals in the golf shop that would be happy to give you." I mean, I was really impressed with how I tried to throw it a curveball, and it handled it quite well, I have to say.
It does. It does a lot more. It does, for example, I go to a new city and try to book a tea time, right? And just landed up in the golf at the airport. I have 4-5 hours to kill. I can tell it, hey, give me instructions to go to this course from here, from where I am.
Right.
And it takes you immediately a link that it gives you the directions, right? You can ask it a lot more questions. The more we go deeper into technology, we'll be able to integrate a lot more services as we go every day into this. So the base technology is AI. We work with a lot of different stacks. So it's a lot more complicated than a simple use of ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever. Since our technology background comes from building very complex systems using microservices which run 20 cluster services for having one simple service, that brought the possibility for us to build this service very efficiently. So early on, in last year, in the middle of last year, it is much earlier than that, we wanted to do a proof of concept for building on AI technologies to do something, right? To build a proof of concept so that we can go into the market and say, hey, this is how well we can utilize AI to build solutions for your product, for your business. So golf is very close to my heart. So I said, let's build it on golf.
Nice. Yeah, that's excellent.
So I didn't even tell
very fortunate for Dell as well, I'll say.
Yeah, I didn't even tell Dell, but I was asking him a lot of questions. And he didn't guess until last December why I was asking him these questions.
Yeah.
So he gave me so much of information, he and his company, and we also have a lot of data coming from Pitch CRM because we build and manage Pitch CRM.
And so you're able to glean golfer data from that and understand golfer behavior probably because of Pitch CRM and feed that into the AI.
And I must admit, one of a very important building block has been Lightspeed. The relationship that Dell has with Lightspeed and their APIs and things like that had been very useful for us to be able to build based on those data flow that we get to build all that we have built so far.
Right. My understanding is you also have an integration to Club Prophet.
We do. It's quite different to Lightspeed though. Okay. We have it with Club Prophet. So we wanted to be agnostic. Look, the market, Dell is a better person to talk about these decisions because I'll leave it to him, the commercial decisions. And we have very clear demarcation in the company. Dell manages all partnerships, commercial and things like that. I'm the technology guy. I just try to make the best out of what I can do. Yeah. And it's a good team. It's a beautiful team. And I was just exchanging text messages a few minutes ago with Dell.
So Manna, so back in 2018, many of us in the reservation business, we got exposed to Google Duplex. Right. And it was, I believe it was a hair appointment that we watched Google Duplex, book on stage. Explain to our listeners, how similar is the experience you've built for Tea Times to what people remember about Google Duplex, about booking the hair appointment or booking the restaurant reservation? Explain how similar CourseRev is.
It is quite similar. See, Google has something called the dialog flow. We've experimented quite a lot with the Google stack because we use a lot of Google products. They also have something called the Vertex AI. Google was one of the first companies to dive a lot into this AI business. They have been using AI for their own products for a long time until they open source neural networks for public use. So when you saw this great hair appointment thing, they connected it with the Google Assistant. They asked Google Assistant to make a reservation, which called to a human in a hair salon to book the thing as if it was making a reservation. But if you remember right, the other side was the reverse of what CourseRev is right now.
Agreed. Yeah, it was a bot calling the salon. Yes. Now what CourseRev is doing is it's a golfer calling a bot, if you will.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So we have come into a lot of evolution from where it was in 2018 to ChatGPT and also NVIDIA to all these chip manufacturers have accelerated the AI evolution in a way that's incredible, right? Today we have this possibility because of those building blocks that they have built. It can be metas or a foray into AI or whatever. So what, as a technology company, we are a 100% company. We are not a 10,000 person company. We can't start building from scratch. We can only leverage technologies which are built by these large companies.
Understood. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm wondering here, are you leveraging Amazon? Are you leveraging Google? Like what did you build this on?
Unfortunately, the secret sauce comes in a very mixture, and we'd like to keep it proprietary.
Understood. That's fine. Yeah.
Because it's not that somebody else is not going to build one. I'm sure a lot of people are trying right now to build something similar to this, but we have a competitive advantage to be the first in the market, and also to have a huge amount of knowledge on the golf side, and also huge amount of knowledge on building AI products. So that is our intellectual property, essentially.
And do you have a similar product in any other space? So in other words, have you duplicated this build and applied it to pizzas or something like that?
Right now, we are talking to hotel reservations. We have not deployed into hotel reservations. For example, if we can plug and play into any hotel reservation, like probably in Hilton, when last minute you call from the airport, say, I want to make a reservation. And right now it does do it, but probably sends to a call center or a centralized reservation center right now. It could be used in, I don't know, hair salons. As we said again, they all have online check-ins these days.
Right.
They can use it. We are actively talking to a few use cases right now. But since I told you, since golf was so close to me, golf is the first place where we've deployed.
No, listen, as a golf guy, that's exciting that golf got the first swing at this thing. I think that is, I think that's outstanding. Now, for the listener, explain the end experience here, because actually the tee time does not get booked. What happens is you receive a text message of a link to book the tee time. So that's how it works today. Maybe talk about how it is today, and do you see it evolving into completing the reservation? Actually, why don't you talk about that?
We have a very rich roadmap, tech roadmap from now until I have a tech roadmap in my books for the next 18 months. So the first one, we have 3 active teams on our product on the golf AI side. One team is to what you see right now, the product. They're continuing to improve the product as we speak. And I'm very happy to inform that we just rolled out the waitlisting software through AI.
Very nice. Why don't you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So you call up, you ask for 3. See, there are 2 types of golfers. They're like what you and Dell discussed. There is a golfer who's a budget seeker who would like to play at the best price. There's another golfer who wants to play at the time he wants to play.
Right.
For the golfer who really wants to play at a particular time, a lot of times you can't find tee times. That's why T-Snap is, not T-Snap, I'm talking about Notify, has gained so much of traction lately, because if they're a really serious golfer, they use Notify to get them the tee times if it's available, if it's canceled or whatever. The statistics says that probably 9 million rounds every year are canceled. So that's the market that they are working on. If I'm right, you may be a better person to know about these statistics than me. So in our system, it's very simple. You call in a course and say, hi, I would like to play for 3 people for Sunday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And it'll first try to figure out what is the nearest tee time it will probably give you, and it'll suggest you. And it'll now also suggest you, if not, you could put yourself on a wait list for the 2 p.m.
And is that with an integration with Notify, or you just build it organic into the system?
Organic. It's all organic inside. So what happens is that if the not only does the trigger go from the 2 p.m., it also goes 30 minutes before and after.
Right.
So whenever there is a slot available or many slots available in that bandwidth, it sends a notification to the golfer saying, hey, there is an availability for 3 of you to play in this time. Would you like to secure it right now? So it's much more smoother.
Yes. Yeah. And okay, so then let's get back to, so that's you're breaking some news here. And I think that was probably this big release that you mentioned.
Yes, that's the reason I was busy. Yes.
I totally get it. Yeah, totally get it. And for the viewer, that's why Manna's in Spain today as opposed to Georgia, just because, that's how scheduling works out. But let's get back to this completing the reservation versus right now you get a link via text message to complete the reservation.
So let's go through. See, my job here is to remove as much friction as possible using technology. Okay.
I love that.
So right now, when you get a text message, it takes you to a booking page. And if you're already a recognized golfer, it knows a lot of your information already because you registered to the course. The same way the Stripe system identifies if you have we use Stripe as a payment processor right now. So it recognizes if you've already used some card on Stripe, so it'll automatically ask you to select it and go. Or you could just double click with your Google Pay or Apple Pay if you're an Apple iPhone user, and you can pay it, right? But then when we have to also not, go ahead of our market. So once people have trust in our system, what we could do is they could keep the card on file, and we don't have to even go through that process. We can complete the transaction just on the first call.
Understood. So this is becoming an issue of growing your database of golfers, I guess, in the system, so it becomes easier to finalize the reservation.
Yes.
Okay. Understood. So we've got a strong integration with Lightspeed, an additional integration with Club Prophet. You've got the ability to do waitlists. You got the ability to sell tee times. You also, I know, have the ability to provide directions to the golf course. In theory, does this ultimately become an outbound call system as well? Hey, the tee sheet is light. We've got a bank of 1,000 golfers in our database. We could actually make outbound calls and say, would you like to get a tee time?
I'm glad you asked this. This is where pitch CRM comes into play.
Right.
Right now, it can do emailing. It can do texting because we know the demand for certain things. We know, let's say Mike is always playing golf for me, I'm a Thursday afternoon golfer because that's the only time I have in the whole week. I have 2 young children, so I can play on the weekends. So I play on Thursday afternoons. So if the system identifies me as a Thursday afternoon golfer, it can proactively send, if the tee sheet is light, it can proactively send me a thing saying, hey, would you want to book for the Thursday afternoon the same time?
That's right. Yep. That's right. And then if, you all kinds of extensions off of that.
Oh, yes.
When I was with Golf Now Answers, we would use the celebrities from Golf Channel as the answering voice, right? You can imagine if someone is using CourseRev in the state of South Carolina and they want Nikki Haley to call them and offer them a tee time, theoretically that could happen, and so there's really no bounds on
there are some regulations for opting in for receiving calls because of robocall abuse and things like that. We got to be sensitive about data, or rather user data. We have to be sensitive about privacy. There's a lot of things going on here. So, but the possibilities that we have on our roadmap are immense. As I said, we have three teams working actively. One team is completely on this product. The second team is to support it for because we are also getting, Dell is telling me that we are getting a lot of interest from courses right away. Everybody wants to jump on this because they can see the value. Our selling is as simple as asking somebody to call and try to make a booking.
Right. Now, what's funny is so we do have people that watch this podcast. We have people in the venture capital world and in the private equity world that watch this podcast right now. They are thinking, I can't believe these guys are talking about telephones and tea times, because they think that no one uses the telephone to book a tea time. But you and I have data that says actually it's like half of the tea times in America are still booked over the telephone. And so the telephone is a massive channel when it comes to tea time reservations.
I'm so happy you talked about this. You know what? When I took this decision to jump into this, I did a lot of research, okay? So the statistics, I know how relevant they were. If it was accurate, it says the online booking was less than 30%. And 70%.
Because you have to factor in those 4,000 golf courses that don't even have a digital tee sheet, right? And that's right.
Yeah. So why would somebody want to build a product for the 30% of the market?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, right.
I'm more interested in the 70%.
How easy is it, Manna, to connect to the phone system? You know, that was something we struggled with occasionally at Golf Now Answers. We would struggle with, we don't know if your phone system is going to be compatible with us. Talk about that a little bit. How much of a challenge is that?
Not at all. When a golf course comes on board, if we connect to the tee sheet system, if we have an integration, it's as simple as hooking up to we probably already have an API to connect to, and all we need is an authorization from the golf course to let us do that. There is some work. We'll need to educate the golf course to price it right. We need to pay the counter price or the prepaid rate, how to set that up, how we can access it, and things like that, right? And then our team also guides them into how to manage that. There is a dashboard which a golf course gets, so they can control the system. They can turn it on, turn it off if they want. Very soon, you'll be able to customize the voice that you said, like Nikki Haley in
South make the voice be specific to Texas.
Exactly.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So they'll be able to do that. They'll be able to do a lot of things. Right now, it's in a much more simpler system, right? So those configurations, we'll guide them through all that. And then we have to onboard the banking system for the payouts. They need to get paid. The golf course needs to get paid. And then we assign the local telephone number to the voice system.
Understood. Right. And the payments thing, I think, will be interesting. You know, there's this, you probably have been exposed to this. There's this Lightspeed Payments, which actually lives on Stripe, but they've branded it Lightspeed Payments. But Lightspeed Payments doesn't want to integrate with other systems, whereas just regular Stripe will. So you guys are using Stripe. And so at some point, Lightspeed's going to have to make a decision. Do they continue to operate like an open hosting platform and they allow people to integrate to Lightspeed Payments or not? That'll just be a business decision they're going to have to make.
Let me address to this point. We are not interested in the payments business at all.
You aren't. Understood. Right. Yeah.
So we want to be agnostic on that side too. If an integrator, a T-sheet integrator tells us, hey, we would like you to use our payments, I'm the happiest guy. Just give me the support to integrate and I'll do that.
I agree. I agree with that for sure. I know that there's this growing concern within golf but Lightspeed's not giving us access to Lightspeed Payments, you know, and so there's some other,
So that there is another in the last 45 days that we have been doing. I can't disclose the numbers again. We're doing spectacular numbers in those courses which are running our system. But only 30%, or less than it used to be, only 10% paid prepaid. I think it is a golfer psychology who doesn't want to prepay for the round. They would just pay the booking fee and not prepay for the whole round.
Yeah.
But we are seeing, while they start to trust the system, we see an increase from 5-10% to 30% right now, our prepaid rounds.
Interesting.
In our system, which is a great growth in less than 1 month.
I agree. Yeah. The prepaid thing is a whole nother discussion in golf. Some golfers have said, we've done some surveys in my company. Some golfers have told us there's too much risk in a tee time. Because of weather. And so I'm not comfortable prepaying. Generally people will prepay for a flight because they believe the flight's going to take off, eventually. And then of course the other issue in golf is, will my buddies pay me back? And so there's some certainly friction there in prepayment. But to be able to do a booking fee obviously helps your business model with CourseRev. That's actually where you all can get paid and not be a burden to the golf course owner. That's a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. See, it goes both ways. There are certain courses that are telling Dell that absolutely they don't want their golfers to suffer a convenience fee or a booking fee. But somebody's got to pay us.
Yes, of course. Exactly. Right. So let me ask you, just thinking back to my call center days, are there some golf courses, or I guess, will you ultimately offer the option of when they want to have this turned on and when they want to have it turned off? Or is that happening today?
Yeah. You have absolute flexibility to turn it on, turn it off whenever you want. So that goes back to your previous question about how easy with the phone systems. Let me address to that. So we assign a local number or the closest local number that's available. For Charlotte, it's 704 or 980 area code or whatever, right? So we try to get as close. That is something that we eat at that cost of the line. And then we just tell them, insert it into your phone tree. Every course has some kind of a phone tray. For reservations, press 1 to club pro shop or restaurant or whatever number they have. So right now in the courses that we are running, we are on number 1 on all those courses on the phone tree. So they press 1 and they automatically come into the system.
Right. No, go ahead.
The reason why we're doing this is most people search a golf course or they have on their save their number on their phones of the golf course.
Yes.
They can't call another number.
That's right. That's right.
Or if they search on Google, the number that comes up is the main number of the golf course, and we don't want to change that.
Right. But over time, it'll be interesting to see how often CourseRev does start to become the main number, right? Because really, this is if it's all executed well, and you have a really good track record there. If it's all executed well, this is a game changer when it comes to labor costs and customer experience. And I mean, this is really significant. And that leads me to a question. Because you are a seasoned tech leader, because you have built other things and had success, et cetera, how long until somebody do you think catches up to you? Someone else is going to build this, right?
I know there are a few people who are building it. They're also asking people like Lightspeed for access to the APIs to do this and all that. In all sincerity, if somebody throws a few $1 million, they might be able to pull it off. But would they have a team that is smart enough to fine-tune, to understand, to make something cutting edge like us? We'll be one step always ahead of them.
And the other thing I kind of keep thinking back to is your access to data via Pitch CRM. It's a unique advantage for you all. Clearly, the people at Golf Now have access to tremendous data. The people at Troon have access to a large amount of data. So I'm not saying you're the only one with it, but I do feel like that access to that data is a key piece to getting this thing to learn quickly.
That is one side. Data is one side. The second is the way we built it is we built it with multiple. My team is churning prompt models every day. So we could have different prompt models for every course, for every scenario.
Explain. So people that use ChatGPT know what that means a little bit, but explain prompt model to the listener and what that exactly is and means.
To get an efficient reply from an AI engine, you need to learn or fine-tune the way you ask it. That's the key. And especially in a scenario like this, where there are so many parameters that's been asked the AI engine to process, if you need to have a highly fine-tuned prompt model to work well for the purpose that you have. So you need to know about golf. You need to know about the golfer's psychology. You need to know the have nuances. Uh, there's so much that's going on, but what happens in each one of those prompt models that we have been tracking is it's growing every day, it's improving every day.
Right. Yeah, you actually have to get to a place where someone can call up and say, I want to book a twosome, but I don't want anybody else to play with us. Right? I mean, that's how these calls go, and this AI is going to have to be able to figure that out and navigate that.
Yeah, right now, for example, if you say, hey, I'm going to play with my dad, the system can ask you, by any chance, is your dad a senior?
Right. Yes, I did notice the senior qualifications or the senior understanding in your system already is pretty good, and I think you do that because it's a different rate class, correct? Yeah, it's and exactly. So that matters to you. Yeah.
So there's so much. So I said only somebody who's really in deep into the golf technology side will probably be able to do it. Look, there are a lot of big companies like Golf Now, which have unlimited access to technology and funds. I doubt that they won't be able to do it. There'll be small startups like me who are enthusiastic about AI technology who will be able to do it. We expect the more the better, but at that point, I want to be the best.
Right. And it's also reasonable to think that someone will ultimately come along that's doing reservations in other industries. Yeah, right. And they just feel like they've gotten really good at reservations in general. That's also a possibility. But I will say, we're so early in AI, there's actually no reason that Manna and team, or you call it Nano Nino, there's no reason you all couldn't become that company that's great at reservations, and you start to knock down hotels, like you said, and you start to knock down baseball tickets or whatever, right? I mean, there's no reason that couldn't be you all.
Yeah, we would love to. I mean, this is where the thing is. I
mean, bowling alleys, Manna.
Whatever, yeah.
It's the same business almost, right, as golf.
Right, I mean, now, people are getting crazy about pickleball.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So so you and Dell are partners. I get that. Yeah. In the larger scheme, does someone like a Lightspeed say, and we want to invest in this as well? Like, are there other players that want a piece of the company today, or do you think that's more down the road?
I can't disclose any private discussions. See, I have been in the technology business for quite a long time. I've almost always had connections with either the VC industry. There is some conversations, but look, we have something very valuable, and we don't want to give it away right now.
Right. That's like a million years ago, a conversation I had with Mike Zisman from Golf Genius. He said, I'm not going to sell it now because it's going to be worth so much more in another 5 years. To sell it now would be silly. So I understand that. Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm happy to partner with, look, Lightspeed has been a great partner. I mean, their response time, I know, Matt Valiver was on vacation and he replies to my email if I ask him something. It's nice to work with somebody like that, right? I'm happy to work tomorrow if Golf Now comes. I'm happy to work with them. They are the biggest, 8,500 courses. Hey, I'd be happy to have CourseRev run on Golf Now.
Yeah.
Club Prophet, the same thing. I would not only like to roll out to many more Club Prophet courses, but I can enhance their system greatly from where they are right now. So it can be any T-sheet system. T-sheet system is not a business I am interested in, but our AI engines are going to be one of the other projects where we are working, where there's a conflict of interest with some companies would be, we are building a very advanced pricing system through AI. And that's because of my interest in data.
That's excellent. What I think you'll find, and this is maybe a little more what Dell will find, you're going to have T-sheet point of sale companies that need call center solutions. And this is where this comes from. So like 4UP services the state of New York, who has a large amount of golf courses in the state park system. Well, often they need a call center because the customer requires it. And I believe that's some of the early business you're going to see at CourseRev are these T-sheet companies that come to you and say, if you're telling me you can actually check the box for call center, we would love to integrate with you. We need to integrate with you. I suspect you'll be the only meaningful solution in early 2025. That's just my bet. And so I think you'll see some business come from that way. It's just really something. And like I said, we're going to splice a call in here so people can see it. And I don't think we said this out loud yet, but this is not coming, just around the corner. This is live today.
It is running.
Courses that Dell's company manages.
Hi there. I'm your golf concierge at Greenway Pines Golf Club. I'm here to get you the best rate for your tee time. When would you like to play?
I'd like to play on Monday.
Awesome. And how many players will be joining you for Monday's round?
3. It'll be a foursome.
Got it. And what time are you thinking about teeing off on Monday?
9 a.m.
Just a sec. We don't have a 9 a.m. slot available, but I can get you a tee time at either 9:20 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. on Monday, July 8th for your foursome. Which one works for you?
9:20 would be great.
One moment. Sweet. Your tee time is booked for 9:20 on Monday, July 8th for a foursome. Check your text messages for a confirmation link. Follow the instructions to secure your spot. Can't wait to see you out on the course. Anything else I can help you with today?
Can you send me directions to the golf course?
This will just take a sec. Greenway Pines Golf Club is located at 2604 Washington Road, Augusta, Georgia, 30904. I've texted you directions so you won't get lost. We're excited to see you on Monday. Anything else you need?
No, that's it. How much will it be?
Hold on a sec. Sure. Let's get the total price for your tee time. Hold on a sec. Looks like I've got a bit ahead of myself there. But don't worry. Your booking for 9:20 a.m. on Monday is all set. You'll see the total price in the confirmation text we sent over. Can't wait to have you playing at Greenway Pines. See you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. So another interesting thing is that what stops a private course to use this?
Nothing. Nothing at all. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
They can give much more better service to their members using the system.
You talk about being a fan of data. Do you know the most tee times in a day that the bot has sold at this point? Like how much volume it can handle at a golf course?
Okay, let me bring it from a different thing, right? First, we are seeing a very funny thing. People are still calling during the golf course operating hours and not 24/7, except for a very few. I don't know why. What stops somebody from calling at 10 o'clock in the night and say, hey, I want a round right now. I want to play tomorrow.
Right.
Because they're used to calling a person.
That's right.
Right. So to give you a thing, reservations, it's very funny. I think right now we have surpassed the online reservations with our voice reservations.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a headline moment right there. The AI voice reservations has surpassed the online reservations. That is something. That is something.
And I'll tell you another. Since there is critical information of, I can't disclose Dell's business information here. I don't like to any of my customers' data, but I can tell you another thing. Our voice system answers more than 75 to 80 calls per day for a course. Day.
Such a great, help in the golf shop, right? Just a better employee experience all of a sudden. Yeah.
So that, conversions, we are still working on conversion. People are still learning how to navigate this new thing. Conversions are there, but okay, let me put it this way. In 3 courses, we have run more than 6 figures of tea time bookings in revenue.
Wow. In what kind of a time span?
Less than 30 days.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, that's something. That's something. And then, like you said, today you've announced that you've also added waitlist. And so that will start to become a meaningful interaction point with customers. They actually, it's okay that they didn't book a tea time. They joined the waiting list. And then I'm assuming the waiting list includes some kind of a text message as well when the tea time becomes available. Yeah. So yeah. No, it's great. It's really impressive. You know, Dell had said to me, a couple weeks ago or something, that he alluded to more things he was working on in the podcast episode he did with us, and so this is certainly part of that. And so,
he was struggling not to talk about it.
It's funny. That's funny. Well, he's been a joy, and we said on that episode that we were going to visit him at his distillery, if you will, and we certainly did. And 7 jars. It was a lot of fun to see him there. So
I'm a bourbon guy, so he treats me to good bourbon.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. Well, listen, I want to congratulate you on what you've built. I think whenever we build something, and honestly, I mean this, whether we build a house or we build a car or we build technology, it's the builders that kind of inspire me, right? It's you go from zero to a product, and I just think that's so cool. Guys like me that know how to sell it or market it, that's fine. There's a lot of people that can do that.
You're doing a spectacular job. I've seen a few of your things, and you see that's a skill I don't have.
Well, that's fine. Let me just admire you though, because I just think it's really cool that what you built, and I knew when we saw the Google duplex back in 2018, I knew we would get here. I know not a lot of people in golf know about this, but hopefully this podcast helps with that a little bit. And
we went live for the first time to tell the world about the waitlist feature through AI on your podcast.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.